Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. That's another Terra Third Thursday. And for those of you that have been able to make it on time and have the technology work for you, thank you and congrats. Not that doesn't happen to everybody right off the bat. So, what we usually do, and we will do today, is we'll wait a minute or two just to allow everybody to get on and finish up any last minute phone calls or deal with downloading the software and dealing with it. So we'll get started in about 2 minutes. So just hang tight, everyone. All right. So we're getting some more folks coming in. Yeah, we're just going to hang tight. We're going to let everybody who's uh, planning on attending, deal with their technology issues and finish up their calls and get on. So again, we're going to get started here in about 2 minutes. This is going to be a little less than 2 minutes. Now, this is going to be a relatively brief one today. We're really talking about something specific. I don't have any guests scheduled, although I'm toying with and been contemplating the idea of, maybe tapping on the shoulder of some of our attendees if I can get them into from a non-listen only mode into a participant. I'm going to see if maybe if I can bring some folks in um, just to get their opinions on a couple of subjects. I see our partner there, Stephen Hauser, who with Evercycle has joined us. I got a little something something that involves him to talk about today as well. And there's my buddy Robbie. All right, we've got a lot of good buddy. We've got a lot of folks on here. Right, we're gonna get started here in just another few seconds. We had a pretty big response to this as we typically do, but I think a lot of folks have gotten accustomed to watching our videos, which is great too. Our GoToWebinar channel has been busting with people rewatching our material. All of the content that we've ever produced on these Terra Third Thursdays is at our webinar. Is at our webinar series at GoToWebinar. And I'll show you that here in a minute as well. So if we don't have as many live folks, I'll understand. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I understand it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. People are busy. So the fact that they can watch it when they can is great. That's what's awesome about this technology here. Hey, Joe. Good to see you joining us. It's good to talk to you yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead then and just go and get started. And again, today is a little bit different than our typical Terra Third Thursdays. We're going to be talking about some changes that have been happening in Terra, some things that we're looking at. We're and I'm gonna minimize the screen in the background and pull something else up. Just give me a moment while I make that happen. Um, Hopefully, just coming back. Yeah, so you're seeing my screen now. So this April 1st, we celebrated our 5th anniversary. It's hard to believe. I can't believe it. That 5 years ago, April 1 was when we kind of formally registered the business and had our first, beta member here at the in Nashville. And my partner Clarence Hollins, who some of you had the opportunity to meet, but I'm sure we'll get a chance to meet if you haven't in the future. Um, and I were talking about this particular industry and all the benefits that you know this industry provides the economy, but that it was just kind of this hidden gem that out there were all these folks like his business that were certified that folks weren't talking about. And everybody was talking about paper, glass, and plastic, and other recyclables. And this is such a critical piece to a circular economy, to you know carbon capture, and to all the things that people are talking about. Oh, and there's a buddy trying to call in here. Our host. For, I'm gonna. Sorry, Joe, but I can't take your call right now. A little busy. But he's not going to. Joe, of course, is our conference chair. He's not going to be able to join us today. He's at ISRI with a lot of the other folks that are in the industry this week in Las Vegas. I know he's enjoying himself. But again, we were looking at this industry and saying, okay, what can we do to, really focus some attention on the people here that are certified, that are doing it the right way, that have gone that extra mile. And, the idea of Terra was born from those conversations. And it's hard to believe, again, that was 5 years ago. So, since then we've grown. We are now, thanks to you all, the largest network of certified recyclers anywhere. We have over 110 facilities in 11 countries, both e-stewards and R2 or both. So the fact that you guys have been part of our journey has been incredible. And as we got closer to our 5th year anniversary, it's time to start taking some hard look at the organization. It's like, what are we doing well? What needs improvement? Where do we want to take this in the next 5 years? So out of those conversations then came, well, what about a conference? And I know a lot of you, there are some good conferences, there's some bad conferences, and our industry has several of both. But and it gets to a point, a little bit of conference exhaustion too. It's like, how many things can I go to? But what we looked at was, as we started surveying the field, we saw, kind of some good things actually happening. We saw, the e-reuse conference has been acquired by Siri and R2, and they're going to put on something now called the Sustainability Summit. I think that's got some, very positive things for the future. Again, try to do what we can do to take this industry to the next level. And then some other conferences that we see stagnating a bit, not quite the same impact that they once had, and really need to be focused for this industry by this industry. And that's really one of the reasons that prompted us to put our flag in the sand and say we're gonna do a conference. There's two competing conferences now in October. That makes a little sense. So we want to do something in the springtime, and something that was really focused on you all, something that really brings attention to what your needs are and helping you find new business. Because ultimately, that's why you join an organization like Terra or any organization, is that you're looking to expand, you're looking to grow, you're looking to learn new things, and that's what we want to bring to the table. This industry deserves to have its own show. So that's the direction that we're taking. So as we take these formative steps, we've brought some people in that are going to help us make that next leap. First and foremost of that is Joe Clayton with the Arcoa Group. I think everybody kind of knows Joe, and he's got definitely a reputation in the industry one way or another. You know who he is. But he's been involved in this organization in this industry for a long, long time. He was one of the founding people on ISRI in terms of creating the electronics uh, recycling committee there, being involved in the development of the R2 standard itself. So now part of his organization is now e-steward certified. So he knows this industry backwards and forwards, and having somebody like that guide us through this has been very helpful. But even with that, that's not going to be enough. We're going to need more support, and that's why we're having this session today. Is we're reaching out to folks like you all, and we're wanting to start a dialogue. Although I don't know if I'm going to be able to let people in and ask questions personally. I'm going to be working on that as we're talking here, because I would definitely like to hear some voices other than myself. But the idea again here is we want to start talking about how we get you involved in this process. We've got you know several things that several areas in the development of this conference that we need support on. Really, it falls into two major buckets. One is that being just the conference planning itself. Where specifically are we going to hold it? We're looking tentatively at Nashville. We're getting some bids in from a couple of different hotels and conference facilities to handle the actual physical location. But then you're talking about programming. What are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? What's going to make it different than the others, which is really critical? Are we going to have a trade show? Are we not? How are we going to, is this going to be, all those different questions that they need to be answered in the next couple of months as we start putting you know, the, the flesh on these bones of what this conference is going to be. And then the other piece of this is, very much, it's a personal thing for me, but I know it touches a lot of you all. It touches our whole industry. Um, as I mentioned, not all of these conferences that are involved in our space, I think necessarily are geared towards this industry specifically. I know, one of our major ones is operated and run by the Plastics Association, and they've done a good job over the years, but things have gotten a little bit stagnant. And honestly, this industry again needs to own its own real estate. It deserves to have its own conference, and it deserves to have its own awards. So in addition to kind of planning this as a committee, we're looking for help and people to be involved in the planning of our awards ceremony. from recognizing perhaps recycler of the year, people who are inspirational to us, folks that we've lost, and then just the good works that our organizations are doing all over the place. Today I had the opportunity to share on LinkedIn a program that's being put forward now by Cerba Solutions, one of our members, one of our founding members, about getting out into the community and putting 10,000 hours of effort into educating the market, educating communities as to best practices related to battery recycling and other recyclables. um, you know those kind of things that you all are doing in your communities and across the globe really need to be talked about. That's what this industry deserves. It has a voice, it has an impact, and we want to make sure Terra is helping to broadcast and publicize and evangelize that message all over the world on behalf of the good works that you guys are doing. And it starts with kind of taking ownership and having some and recognizing our people for doing those good works. So that's going to be a big part of it. And I'm going to get more involved in talking about some specific details about the conference. But before I do that, I'm going to take just again a quick step aside because there are a couple things from a news standpoint that the organization is doing that I wanted to share. I wanted to actually get this done at the front end, but as many of you know, including my partner Clarence, I like to yammer. So give me a moment here, and I'm gonna go back to what you're seeing now on screen, which is, as I mentioned, Terra 5th year anniversary. The other piece is, as we scroll down here, we always got to recognize our members. So this is just a new little thing we put up on our website recently. Just the renewing members from this month. So our folks that are renewed here in their annual renewals in April, and we're going to celebrate them a little bit. Georgia Computer, GCI, they've been with us since the very beginning. Same with eCycle, uh, Synergy and TIS. Of course, they're kind of brother sister organizations. They've been with us for a long, long time. Didion is a newer partner, but we're glad to have them. Evercycle, as I mentioned, Hauser on this call. We've got some things that we're working on together, including our Done With It program that offers solutions to you all in terms of if you don't have a box program, you can have a box program. Just give us a call about it. Wipe OS joined us recently, and they were also one of our Terra Third Thursday presenters a couple months ago. And then our friends over at eLoop, who are eSteward certified and also happen to be the only, I believe, facility in the United States right now that's operating one of these flat screen recycling machines created by one of our other partners, FPD Recycling, one of our allied members. So thank you to all of you all for renewing. Again, we're going to be talking about the conference today, but this was really something that I want to make sure we talked about before I got too far into some of the other details, and that is what we kind of officially launched today with a news release that has been put out, and that's our Done With It offering called Devices for Autism. Many of you might recall that back, I guess, last summer through the end of January, we ran a project with an organization called Pixera Global. They're like a circular economy nonprofit, and Federal Express, who actually operates a certified R2V3 facility not too far from headquarters here in Nashville or in Gallatin, Tennessee. And out of that came, our kind of reverse logistics program, because Federal Express gave us this incredible discount, like 80% off of our shipping. But also a partnership with another one of our Terra members, ERS, also based in Gallatin. And they hire folks that are on the autism spectrum. They're a nonprofit recycler that's also R2V3. So when that test program with Pixera Global came to an end, we found out it was a very good benefit for our friends at ERS. They were actually receiving the material directly at the end of that, just because their facilities, they're much easier for them to handle onesies and twosies coming in the mail than it was for the folks at Federal Express, if you can believe that. But what we decided was, hey, they were getting the material anyway for refurbishment and repair and getting that material back out into the marketplace. So we wanted to continue that. So we created a brand new program that we're now calling Devices for Autism. ERS is kind of our founding processor in that. and we're going to be expanding that very rapidly to the entire country. We're going to be looking for other processors that want to get involved. First and foremost, we're looking for processors that do have a program in place that are handling or that are providing opportunities for folks that are on the autism spectrum. And then we're also looking at our existing kind of done with it partners that take material for us across the United States and Canada. But beyond that, if people are interested, if you want to maybe become a processor or become part of this program, we're receiving laptops and tablets, and which are asking for those that do come into the program are obviously still in relatively good condition, so they can be refurbished easily. Let us know. We're looking to expand this rapidly, and we'd like to get some of you folks that are on this call involved. And yeah, that's just good. This is our Devices for Autism program is really just kind of an integral and a continuation of our reverse logistics program. This is something that can be branded independently or something we can create specifically for your facility. So jumping back, thank you for that indulgence. The conference, as I mentioned, we're looking for folks to be involved. Oh, and if you want to learn, we do have a conference website. Very simple. Just come to our regular, jointerra.org. You see a link right here. You click on it. It's going to take you to a new URL, terraconference.org. This is where information for the conference going forward is going to live. You'll see just a little video there that we put out as to explaining kind of why we're doing this, and I went through that a little bit at the beginning. And this was our press release talking about the announcement. But this is kind of where and why we're here today is getting you involved. As I mentioned, planning this is going to take a lot of people. Planning the awards is going to take a lot of input. So what we're asking for at this point, we right now have gotten both a time and financial commitment from one of our founding members, C2 Management, to be on our committees, helping us plan, and again, of course, very valuably helping us raise some early dollars, because we have to, it's going to be costly as we look to, securing meeting space, securing pipe and drape, and all the kind of things that go along with conference services, holding meeting space, getting room blocks, getting, a lot of all the elements that have to go into the purchase and the creation of an inaugural event. A lot of that stuff's got to be paid on the front end before we kind of receive $1 from an attendee or an exhibitor or something like that. So again, we're going to be asking for both a mixture of financial support and support in terms of bringing your ideas to the table in the coming days, weeks, and months. So for those of you who want to get involved in the early end, that's why you're here today. That's kind of that's what the ask is that we're going to be asking you guys to step up with your time and your resources to help us make this happen. We are at a bit of you're always at a crossroads. Whether you've been in business for 5 years or 5 minutes, you have to make decisions about what the future is going to look like all the time, and you have to react to the marketplace. Things that are happening for you all in terms of how you're going to be handling plastics that are coming up in the next few months. You all are still kind of, to a certain extent, digesting all the changes that came in through the new certification standards. There's best practices that need to be shared. There's opportunities for finding new downstreams and new partners. And where's your business going to go from here? And what's going to happen with, as technology evolves? What's AI going to do to our future? These are the questions that, we need to start as an industry tackling together. And the only way we can really make that happen is by getting together and having those conversations. So we're looking at the TERRA Conference again to be the hub of that, to bring all of you folks together for an opportunity to grow your business, to understand the marketplace and where it's going. But that's going to take, all of us, working together here. I've been, over the last couple of weeks, we've gotten a lot of folks asking us for help. It's like, okay, we're one facility, we're two facilities, we got some clients that are in these other regions. Can you help us connect with our other fellow members? a lot when I started 5 years ago. There was, and there still is, so much concern about you know sharing a client list. Is somebody going to steal my client? I think what we're finding here is, a network, a community of people that have share common interests, that are looking to do things right and do the right thing by other folks in the industry, their fellow colleagues, but just want to be available to earn a little bit of extra and be part of a larger community. So for those of you that have kind of opened your doors to that, I thank you. That's kind of really what we're involved. Why we got started is what you guys do is fabulous. It's so necessary, but and to a certain extent, logistics gets in the way. So having this large network of 100 plus facilities working together and moving things around efficiently, and partners like we have with Evercycle and RGX, our allied members that come into play and help you kind of grease the gears of this machine. We can start to see that in the future, this industry is going to change, and that's one of the themes that Joe Clayton and I have been discussing as it relates to the overall theme for this conference is going to be the evolving market of assets. How are we going to start integrating receiving, processing, moving assets around more efficiently? Because as you all know, dealing with margins that are shrinking, you've got to be more creative with that than ever. And we want to bring to you ideas and strategies and things that work that you can apply then back at your businesses. So I guess I kind of released a little bit out of the bag there. You could managing assets. The future of managing assets is kind of tentatively the area of focus for this conference. And again, we want you all to be involved. We've got sessions to plan. We've got exhibit space to think through. We've got evening events and breakout sessions and all those things that go along with a really robust conference. That it's an opportunity for everybody to kind of get their hands on and get their fingerprints on a new direction for our industry. And I've been humbled over these last 5 years to the level of support that we've received thus far. And I guess I'm kind of banking on that continuing, in that, again, we're going to be needing your all's help to make this happen, because we're doing it really on behalf of you guys. This is an association, this is an organization that was founded to promote what you're doing, to evangelize why certification matters and help you with your bottom line. And to make that happen, we're going to be asking for your help too. So again, we're reimagining TERRA. Right now, as I mentioned early on, and I keep repeating, we have 100 plus facilities in our network. That's about 10% of all the certified facilities across the globe. It's a good start, but that's just getting started. There's a lot of folks that are not involved. We've got to encourage to get involved if we're going to make this conference successful, if we're going to make our industry and those that are certified, come together a little bit. So, we've got our work cut out for us. We're going to be asking for your help on this conference. We feel like that's going to be the centerpiece of a long-term strategy to bring our industry together and to have it start taking ownership of its own future. So I have been talking more than I thought I was going to, but that always happens. So I'm going to ask anybody out there, do you have any questions for me while I try to figure out if I can knock on somebody's door and bring them into the session to give their opinions? So feel free to use the chat feature here or the questions feature to ask me a question. And I'm going to see if I can get somebody to join us for a moment. How about see if I can make this happen? I'm going to enable Robbie Seagroves. If you're still on, I'm going to enable your mic. Let me know. Can you hear me? Can you talk, Robbie?
I can barely talk sometimes.
Well, great. I didn't think this was going to work. I'm so pleased. I know you. I did not. This is completely unscripted. He had no idea that I was going to call on him. So Robbie, you know, you've been in the industry some time. You've been to going to some of these conferences. I mean, what's your opinion of, where this industry needs to go with with kind of reinventing our conferences, making them more valuable?
Yeah, I think you've got a good foundation, and you kind of alluded to it all. Like I said, this is not scripted or anything like that. I was trying to actually hang up. I knew you was probably going to call and so on. But it's got some good foundations as long as you can get buy-in for everyone. Just like, for example, for the URT side, we are known for doing the right thing in the right industry, and so that's one of the best things to do. But I think you have something that you can grow upon as long as you get a lot of buy-in and everyone's on the same page. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's again that's going to take a lot of support, a lot of help, and it's right here, so I got to show it. I love this thing. Again, our friends over at C2 are our first sponsor, so I'll give them a little shout out. I carry this thing with me, and he gave this to me over at the last eScrap. Um, but yeah, this is going to be about partnerships, and uh, and I'm with you, Robbie. I think we just got to bring some more people to the table. So I
Yeah, we
appreciate you
do.
jumping in that.
We do. And then we have more valuable people like inside the URT. We have an unbelievable marketing lady that supports us greatly. So we'll try to bring her in next time. Okay.
Oh yeah, well I think Danae's sitting here. I think she's in the audience.
Oh, did not know
But
that.
so well, thank you. I'm gonna maybe show you if I can knock on somebody else's door. Again, I appreciate that. Let's see who else. Oh, let's talk to one of our allied friends. Let's see if I can get Mr. Hauser. I want to knock on your door. See what you've been an attendee and an exhibitor at some of these conferences. So let me enable your mic. See if you can have a moment to give your opinion on what some of these conferences, where you saw there was areas for improvement.
Well, you can knock. It doesn't mean I have to let you in, though, right?
No, I love hearing myself talk.
Oh, amen. Well, at least you admit it. That's a good thing. So, yeah, Napoli, we've been working together. Gosh, well over a year and a half, almost 2 years, and it's been great expanding. Different partnerships. Napoli and I, we have to go by last names because we get on conference calls together, and it's Stephen, and we're like, which one? We both stare at each other. We're like, who are you asking? So I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about is the partnership aspect. And, we go to a lot of different shows. And like Napoli, you said earlier, some are expanding and some it's just kind of the same thing over and over. But I love that it's the partnership, the developing new business, and overall making a difference. And one of the things we did, we started working closer together with our Done With It, powered by Evercycle program.
Hmm.
That led into additional intros and for both of us. And then when we had the opportunity to, we came up with the crazy idea for the devices for autism. It really showed the power of partnerships because we
Hmm.
already test piloted something. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait, we have a greater cause. Let's work together. So we co-founded that and, brought it to light. And we are thrilled to be a part of it because of the fact that we do this every day. Why not give back and benefit others? And I think that's what's so cool. When we talk about partnerships, so many people just think of it from a monetary perspective, and it's not. It is truly, 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 we're already doing this. How is it we can give back?
Hmm.
And that's why we're so thrilled to be a part of the devices for autism with ERS and Health Connect and TERRA. So, that's the power of partnership. So if that's the drive of the TERRA conference, we're all in.
That's it. That's it. It's about creating new partnerships and and telling the story that this industry has to tell. I mean, it blows me away. Part of what I have to do on a daily basis is really kind of search what everybody's doing. I follow everybody on social medias, and the amount of incredible stories that are coming from our membership is overwhelming. Um,
Yeah.
and I wish we could do an even better job of amplifying all of those stories, because when we do, it just shines so much positive light on this industry, and it needs it. I mean, everybody's working diligently, everybody's working hard. There's a lot of entrepreneurs in here, and that's kind of what drew me in. But what made me create Terra was like, yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs are working hard selling and being creative from their operations standpoint, but we got to get more creative with our marketing. And it's we're just we're this close, and as we look to bring more partners in to evolve this space, I think we're just kind of at the very beginning of getting something very excited started.
Yeah, I totally
So,
agree. And I'm sorry, one last thing on that is, working together, we're better together because I'm not great at everything. You're not great at everything. But the thing is, if we get two, three, four, 10 different people together and solve a bigger issue, that's when it gets really exciting. We're all great at what we do, but we're
mhm,
not great at everything. So, these partnerships that we're developing are just absolutely it just I you can't put a price on it. It's not a
no,
monetary thing. It's a relationship thing. And with relationships come even better things. So,
yeah, and we're not everything, we're not everywhere. So,
yeah, amen to that.
I mean, the footprint of our colleagues is what makes us strong. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you, Hauser. I may pick on one more person here, and then I'm gonna, kind of wrap things up because I was wanting to be done by right around 30 minutes today. I'm a little bit longer than I planned on. So, again, thank you, Hauser. We will be in conversation, I know, very soon. All right, let's see. Who am I gonna pick on? Not pick on. Uh, Since I just talked to him yesterday and I see his name sitting there and I've already mentioned him, I'll bring him on, see if he has something to add to this conversation. Joe with iTad Logic. I'm enabling your mic here. Let's see if you can talk or if you're somewhere that you can talk. Are you there?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I was listening to everything that you're saying, and I did have some input. I attended the ITAD summit in 21 out in California, and that was my first. It was shortly after I got into the industry, so it was very eye opening. I come from a different industry where conferences are also very big, so I'm kind of seasoned with conferences. One thing that I would like to see that there was nothing of there is like a business development kind of thing is something that Steve, you and I talked about is that,
Hmm.
there's a lot of networking and, there's a lot of areas for networking. And I think the networking part is good, but I think it kind of gets diluted over time when there's so much of it. But I think if you could kind of like survey Terra members and say, hey, what areas could you use help with in your business, and then gear your breakout sessions towards that. If it is marketing, well, what type of marketing? What are you looking for? Are you looking for specific target marketing or just overall brand awareness of your company, or what? Or are maybe people are looking at more like production and like we had talked about like 5S and really
Hmm.
streamlining production in your facility? What kind of things are members looking for? I think that would be really good for breakout sessions.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, no, that's good. And a lot of these organizations, I mean, we went and tapped on the shoulder of an industry veteran, Joe Clayton, to be kind of our chair, just because, again, he can help us avoid some landmines. But this industry, it's like all under the industries. There's a lot of folks that have been in it for a while, kind of know each other, and then conference comes along and they kind of hang out at the bar together and not necessarily meeting a bunch of new people. And then there's new folks coming in that are trying to work their way into it, meet new people, and figure out what's going on. If we could figure out a way, a matchmaking session, which we do a lot of at Terra between our members, of making sure that you get an opportunity to meet other folks that are in other parts of the country that have other specialities than yourself. That's really valuable. That's how you start growing your capability, is that you can now start handling business when you've got partners around the country and colleagues that you
Yeah,
can
I think
reliably
I think you hit the nail on the head right there when you talk about networking. Is especially like I said, me being new to this industry or new to conferences and networks, you have the ones that all know each other, and then you have the outsiders that are like a fish out of water. Well, how do you break into these groups that of all these seasoned people that know each other personally very well? So I think that's an excellent idea.
excellent. All right, well, thank you, Joe. Well, again, this is all unscripted. This is great. I didn't know this was going to work. So I'm glad that this gives us maybe some options as we get into future sessions, so we can maybe start bringing some live questions into our third Thursday webinars. I was contemplating whether or not we should keep GoToWebinar at all, but if it does this, then yeah, we might just do that. So I am going to disable your mic, and then I'm going to start wrapping things up. So everybody, thank you all for being supportive of Terra. 5 years, and we've gotten, some of the folks on this call have been with us since almost the beginning. That's a really, it's humbling to me that so many people have given their trust to us, and we are really excited about what the future holds. And we want you to be a part of it. We want you to be part of our growth. You earned it. You deserve this. This is for you. But we do need your help. And I hope you'll go to our website, terraconference.org or jointerra.org, and go to the conference link. Come over here and click on Get Involved. Fill out some information here so I know, what you might want to participate in, and we'll reach back out to you and get a call scheduled so we can talk about how you can directly get more involved in this conference. It's next year. It's 2025. We've got a lot of time, but that's going to go like that. So we want to make sure that we start moving things along, rather rapidly. So thank you again for your time today. Thank you for your ongoing support, and we'll look forward to talking with you again the third Thursday of next month. In the interim, please feel free to contact me at any time. Talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody.